Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Taylor, for those of you who may have never been here before. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some small details that I really wish were in The Sims 4 that we just don't have, and it's kind of disappointing to me. It's just little things that I think would make the game feel more rich and more exciting and just have your Sims feel more alive. Before we jump into that, I would ask you guys to please give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it at any point throughout the video, and if you aren't already, make sure that you hit that big red subscribe button down below. Let's jump into 14 things I wish were in The Sims 4 that are just little cute details. The first thing I really wish would happen in The Sims 4 is your Sims interacting at all while they're sleeping. One thing I loved in The Sims 2 is your Sims would just like roll over and start to snuggle like a married couple. It was so adorable. If the Sims were able to do this, it would kind of make it feel like they love each other a little bit more than how it feels now, because Sims just kind of ignore each other while they're asleep. And that's just like a little bit of a bummer to me. I want my Sims to pay attention to each other even if they are no longer awake. I could use some sleep and a good snuggle. The second thing that I really wish they would add to The Sims 4 is while they're cooking, the actual opening of drawers and cupboards. Now this may sound kind of silly and like something you wouldn't need, but it really does add to the realism of the game. It was in The Sims 2. I don't remember if it existed in The Sims 3, but your Sims would literally, like if they needed a spoon, they would open a drawer and they would grab a spoon. Now you wouldn't be able to see inside of the drawers or the cabinets, but your Sims would interact with them. Right now they're really just surfaces that they use the top of, but they don't ever interact with the bottom half. You never see them open a drawer, you never see them open a cupboard, and I genuinely find that a little bit disappointing. I absolutely love when Sims are using their whole environment to make it feel more vibrant and make it feel more like a movie or an in-depth experience compared to just surface level, using a counter to chop some stuff and everything just appearing out of nowhere. Like you shouldn't be able to pour a bowl into a pot without having to grab a pot. Like it just appears, and it's disappointing in a weird way. But having this would just make your Sims feel like their cooking experience is more interesting, and they would also have more interactions and more animations, which just make everything more fun to watch. Something that I find very disappointing in The Sims 4 Parenthood is the fact that the only way your Sims can get pimples is if you add them yourself. I'm not about to go into cast when my Sim is a teenager and give them pimples. I think that's kind of cruel. However, okay, maybe this is kind of cruel too, but I want my Sims to get pimples autonomously like they used to in past games, where they would just come home one day and they would have a pimple on their face after like a hard day at school, and you could get like pimple cream and rub that on them, but you wouldn't have to go in to create a Sim and like add it yourself. Adding pimples yourself just feels mean to me, and I don't want to make my Sims hate me. I want them to like me because I like them and they're important to me. But I wish that was just an autonomous thing that you didn't have to go to cast to do. The next thing I really wish we had in The Sims 4 was an improving carpool. Now in The Sims 4, when your Sims go to work or school, they just walk off the lot and they disappear, like teleporting. We don't have school buses, disappointing, we'll get to that. But we also don't have carpools for your Sims. So in previous games, there would literally be a car, if your Sims didn't own a car, that would show up and pick them up for work or school, and they would go off in it. Now the best thing that I remember in The Sims 2 is that when your Sim was at a low level of that career, they would have like a really beat up kind of crappy car driving them to work every day. As they improved their rank, they would get, a nicer car picking them up to work every day. And eventually, if they were like a politician or something important, they would have like limos. There was even a helicopter that would come and pick some Sims up from work if they were really high in important careers. And this was just a fun detail that I think is lacking in The Sims 4, like little things like that. They really do make the game just feel more fun and more loved and just more goofy. I don't know, having a Sim just go off to work in a helicopter every day, or like my superstar cat who had a job, like being able to go off to work in a limo is just so silly. And these are the kind of things that I really do miss from past Sims games. So actually having a carpool at all would be awesome, but having Sims actually, have different types of carpool depending on how well they're doing in their career is a really fun concept. Of course, along with that is school buses. Like honestly, there was just so many cute little details about school buses. Like your Sims had 1 hour to get on that bus. If they didn't get on the bus, that school bus driver is going to honk, and they are going to honk a lot until your Sim pays attention to them and gets on the bus. Your Sims would come home after school, sometimes with a friend who would also get off the bus, and it was just really adorable and it made me really happy. Of course, it's not that big of a deal, like it doesn't really impact your gameplay very much that your Sims just walk off the lot, but to have the school bus show up and your Sims get on it just made it feel like a more in-depth experience, and I just enjoy that quite a bit. Now right along with that, something that I really do miss is in The Sims 2, I know I talk about The Sims 2 all the time, I'm sorry, but your Sims kids would come home, and if they had gotten an A in school that day, they would get very excited, they would have like a report card in their hand, and they would be just wagging that thing around in the air, running to find their parents so that they could tell them about their beautiful experience at school, and then like there would be this cute moment between the parents. But now you don't really have anything happen when your Sims get an A. They don't really care that much. There is no like big exciting moment where they run home and just go find their parents. Like, it doesn't exist. And I would love to see that like exciting moment, because it is a big deal that your Sims are getting A's and you should be proud of them. The next thing I really want in The Sims 4 is changing tables. Now this may not seem like that big of a deal, but babies are still objects, which really is a bummer. But I want to be able to take the baby from the bassinet to a changing table and change their diaper, or change a toddler at a changing table. Be able to take them over there, change their diaper, or change their clothes, or any of that kind of stuff. Having a changing table is really realistic. It's just a place that exists in a lot of homes when they have babies or toddlers, and it's just odd that there's like no real place where the diapers go. And that's something I think about sometimes. I'm like, where is all the poop going in this household? I don't know why that's where my brain goes, but like, ew. Something that's always bothered me about The Sims 4 is the fact that your Sims are able to just have like 5 outfits, and you can pick any clothes you want and you can change them at any point, and it doesn't cost you any money. I like my Sims to suffer. I like every single thing to cost them money. So something that I would really love to see in the game is clothes shopping. And I know in the new pack, Cottage Living, there is the ability to click on that one building and be able to plan your outfits and all that. So it's like fake clothes shopping, but you don't have to pay any money for it. And in past games, you would literally like have a place you would go and you would shop for groceries, you could shop for like magazines and books and stuff, and then you would be able to shop for clothing. When you would shop for clothing, you could go into like this little change room booth and you'd be able to pick as many items as you want as long as you could afford them. Your Sims would bring them home and put them in their dresser, and then you'd be able to plan your outfits based on the clothes that you owned, not just the clothes that exist in Create a Sim. This is really fun because it costs you money, makes it harder for you to get new outfits, and gives you something to work towards, which I just really enjoy. The next thing that I really, for some reason, really miss in The Sims 4 is the ability to make the bed, or the necessity to make the bed, I guess. Every morning when your Sims wake up in this game, they just pop out of bed and the bed is made, and it's like, I wish that that were real life. That's not how it works, but I wish that that were real life. In past games, the sheets would be moved and you'd have to actually go and make the bed or have a maid come and make the bed, and your house just looked really messy and kind of gross if you didn't make the beds, which was the only real incentive to doing it because it didn't affect much, but it would just feel icky. And I remember having a household with 8 Sims, and every morning I'd be like, okay, you are going to use the toilet, take a shower, eat your breakfast, make your bed, go to school. Every day. I literally just loved having them have to make their beds. It just felt so fancy to me for some reason. I don't know. That's really weird. Making your bed is like not a fancy thing. The next thing that I really wish we had in The Sims 4 is water bowls for pets. When The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs came out, for some reason all we got was food bowls, which I don't quite understand as a concept because obviously our pets get thirsty at the Sims team. I don't quite understand why there weren't any water bowls. I just think that it would be really cute to not only look at but also listen to your pets. The noises they would make would be so gross. Ew, I'm thinking, ew, ooh, maybe it would make me feel icky. Maybe I don't want that. I think it would be cute. Having to like fill up your little water bowl would be so adorable. And I just think it was a little bit of an oversight and kind of disappointing because like most pets have a water bowl, but it's a small detail that they definitely missed. Something from The Sims 3 that I really wish they will bring back is home movies. In this game, your Sims were able to get like a little video camera and go around and record moments of their family's lives. So you could like record your Sims toddler walking. You could record like Christmas morning or a kid's birthday or any of that. And you actually had the ability to watch these back on the TV. And that is just like the cutest detail ever. Like the fact that you could take a home video that you made when your Sims child was like a toddler and play it for them like when they're off to college or something, like that's so cute. And it's just one of those things that makes you love your Sims more because you have these home videos of them and it just makes you feel more connected to them and more likely to want to play for longer. The next thing I really wish we had in the game was like breaking of your phones. In The Sims 3, you actually could drop your phone and the screen would crack and you'd have to pay to get it fixed. I love to suffer in The Sims 4 and I just think that The Sims 4 is just a little bit too easy a lot of the time. So I would love for that to be a thing because it is a thing in real life. You break your phones all the time. You could have a Sim go from like being young all the way until they die, having one phone, never having to replace it, never having anything happen to it. And it's like, that's a little unrealistic. Can we have those at least break just so I can have to spend the money? Because sometimes when you play with a family for too long, you end up with too much money and then nothing to do with it. So I would love for my Sims phones to break. I'm gonna have to like upgrade my Sims phone, even if they like started with like a flip phone, which would be very funny to me. And you can like upgrade them to a smartphone would be really, really fun. But having them break, beautiful. Love The Sims 3 for that one. And the final thing on my list of small details that I want to see in The Sims 4 is surprisingly newspapers. Now, I know a lot of people don't really get a daily newspaper anymore because it's a little bit old school. You know, you're more likely to be able to just go and read things online, you know, better for the environment. And a lot of people just don't get newspapers delivered to their house anymore. But it's one of those things, along with home phones, that just feel very Sims to me. Like having a bunch of newspapers just hanging out on my Sims front yard, because I never picked them up until they were like, you won't get another newspaper. And I was like, oh, I guess I should clean those up. It just feels like The Sims, and it feels like the Sims franchise to me, and it has like a special place in my heart because that was just kind of how things worked back then. You'd have to like look for jobs on a newspaper, or, you know, all the other things you could do and do crosswords and all that kind of stuff, and it was just so fun. Same with having a home phone in your house. I really do miss that as a little detail. I understand that in 2021 a lot of people don't have home phones, but the fact that you don't even have that as an option kind of bothers me. I don't know if that's something that's just me or if that's like a universal thing that bothers people. I just wish that like in my like little old lady's house, you know, she could get the newspaper, have a home phone, because, you know, she doesn't live in 2021. She's still living like it's 1985. You know what I mean? I just wish it was more like that, and that you had the options of these things, especially because they were staples in the Sims franchise before. So those are all of the small details of things that I would love to see in The Sims 4. Hopefully some of these things might get added someday, you know, along with cars and freeing the babies, and we are getting farming at least. You know, we're getting some cute animals in a few days. I'm very excited about that. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. I really hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.